Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Untitled Chapter viewers. In this video, we're going to be talking about how I maintain 100% battery life, or close to it, on my iPhones. Now this has been requested over and over and over in the comments section on my other video, which goes over the top battery saving tricks for your iPhone, iPod Touch, iPad. So if you want to watch that video, I'll have it linked at the end of this one. So watch this one all the way through, and then I'll link you guys straight to that one so you guys don't forget, because I think you guys will like both of these in conjunction to get the maximum battery life out of your iPhone. So first, let's talk about what this is. So if you go into the settings of your iPhone and then click on the battery health tab, you'll be able to see all of this information about your phone. Now you can see right now my daily driver here, the iPhone 11 Pro in space gray. This one's currently hovering at about 99% battery capacity. So what that means is in the 4.5 months that I've been using this phone, the battery has only degraded about 1%, which is great. Now it also says it's at peak performance capability, which means there's no voltage limits or anything that are slowing the phone down. And then I actually turn off optimized battery charging, but I'll talk about that in a second. Over here, we've got my iPhone 10. This one had this one for over 2 years, and it is at 86%. I did not get it replaced, so it is just at 86%. I've used this thing a lot, so 86% sounds about right. Now, as you can see at the top here, it says phone batteries, like all rechargeable batteries, are consumable components, and they become less effective as they age, which means these phones are going to lose battery health eventually. You cannot keep them going forever, but you can optimize the way that you use your phone in order to lengthen the battery health of your phone. So let's go over some of the tips. Now, the first thing that Apple says is that your iPhone's battery is rated at 300 to 500 cycles to stay above 80%. So that's between 1.5 and 2 years for the average user. And a cycle is when your battery goes from 0 to 100. Now, it doesn't have to do that all in one go. So let's say one day you take it off the charger and your phone's at 100% battery. Then you use it for a few hours and you're down to 50% battery. You've used half of a cycle. If you plug it back in and it goes up to 100 and you use it for another 25%, so it goes down to 75%, you've now used 3/4 of a cycle. Basically, the amount of battery percentage used needs to equal 100 to equal one cycle. Now, how do I use my phone? Me personally, I plug my phone in whenever I get a chance if I feel that it needs a charge. So that means when I wake up in the morning, it's at 100%. I charge it overnight, all night, no matter what percent it's at. I've never had an issue with this. In fact, there's a chip inside of Apple's phones that actually limit the amount of power coming from the wall adapter or charger that will stop it once it hits 100%. So you don't have to worry about overcharging your iPhone. It's impossible to do so. But with that said, you should not be using any third-party chargers or cables that are not MFI certified, because those can damage the hardware inside your phone and cause it to overcharge, and it can degrade the battery faster, as well as even possibly cause a fire. So it's best to stick with the Apple chargers and cables for the longevity of your device. Now, in general, you should not let your iPhone dip below 20% battery on any given day. So right now mine is at 72%. And I will not be letting it dip below 20%, except maybe once a month. I'll drain it down to like 5 or 10% and then charge it right back up. But that's rare. That's once a month. But in general, I keep it between 30 and 100%. If you wanted to be absolutely perfect with your phone, you'd have to keep it between 40 and 60% at all times. That is what the battery experts say. But obviously that is not feasible for average people because we use our phones. And that's why you should use your phone as you normally would. And don't think about it too much. There are a couple things that you guys can do in order to prolong the life of your battery. The first thing is absolutely do not keep your phone in any type of direct sunlight. That includes going to the beach, setting it on a towel, going to the pool. Do not leave your phone, any phone, even if it's not an iPhone, do not leave it in direct sunlight. Heat is the worst thing for your battery, and it will degrade the battery so fast, you guys will not believe it. So keep your phone out of direct sunlight, avoid heat as much as possible. That is very critical in maintaining battery. Now, on the other hand, coldness, like if you live in a cold climate and you go outside and use your phone, that is not as bad for your phone's battery. It will temporarily degrade the battery, but once it warms back up to room temperature, it should be back to normal for the most part. So heat is way worse than cold weather, but just keep that in mind. Another tip is that it is better to charge your phone in little bits throughout the day rather than once at night. So what that means is if you're working throughout the day and your phone goes to, let's say, 56%, go ahead and plug it in, charge it back up to 70%, say you got to run to a meeting, that's fine. It's better than leaving it at 100 and working your whole day and getting it down to like 20% and then charging it all up overnight. That's harder on your battery because it stresses the battery more and it also generates more heat. Now, if you guys didn't understand before, heat is bad for your battery, and that includes heat that is given off while charging. So the next tip here is to take off your case while charging. So if you're using a case like this one's actually not too bad because it's relatively thin and it dissipates the heat pretty easily. But if you're using a bulky case that traps the heat in and you're charging your phone, that's a no-go. Make sure you take that thing off before you charge it if you want to maintain the best battery life, because this will trap the heat and will degrade the battery a little bit faster. The next tip, avoid using fast chargers or wireless chargers. Of course, this all comes down to heat again. Wireless chargers are not as efficient as a corded charger, and therefore the byproduct they give off when they're not charging your battery is heat. So make sure to use wireless charging sparingly, and the same goes with fast chargers. I mean, you don't need a fast charger overnight to charge your phone because it's going to be sitting on that thing for a couple hours. If you're in a pinch, of course, use a fast charger, get the full use out of your phone. Don't worry about the maximum capacity in that case, because actually using your phone is what you bought it for. So don't worry too much about it. If you have to use a fast charger, once a month, once every couple weeks, it's not going to kill it, but just don't be using it every day overnight. But let's just say you wanted to break the rules and just use it every night. You can lessen the blow of it by using this optimized battery charging. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to charge your phone up to 80% and then it's going to cut it off. It learns your patterns. So if you get up every day at 7 a.m. and you plug it in at 10 p.m. the night before, it'll charge it up to 80%, say by 11, but it'll sit at 80% all night until maybe 6 a.m. and then it'll charge it up to 100 so that it's ready to go by 7. Now, it intelligently learns how you use your phone. But me personally, when I plug in my phone, I want it to go all the way. So I actually keep that off. Now, if you really are in a pinch and you have to use a third-party charger, at least use one like Anker or one of the well-respected brands. That is just another tip. And lastly, like I said about the heat, you don't want your phone in heat, and that means avoiding putting it in your car on your dash, because that gets very, very hot, especially with the sun beating down on it. That's a no-go. So hopefully these tips have helped you guys out. I know a lot of them you don't really think about on a daily basis, but maintaining a good battery health is crucial. After about 2 years, you're gonna wanna either replace the battery though, or replace the phone, up to you. At this rate, I'm at 99% after 4.5 months. That's pretty dang good. That means it should be around maybe 95% by next year if it starts to drop more dramatically. So I'm definitely happy with this. So let me know down below if you guys have any other tips and tricks. Definitely check out my other video. I'll link it at the end here, as well as down below. If you guys want to see some software changes you can do in your iPhone to get the most out of your battery life. That's all I got for this one, guys. If you liked it, hit it with a big thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.